All right, so we're diving into Krishna, the management guru. I gotta say, this book was a pretty interesting suggestion.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm kind of curious, like, can we really get management wisdom from a figure like Krishna?
Yeah, it is a unique premise
Yeah.
to apply those ancient Indian philosophies
Right.
to like modern business practices.
So is it just like stretching things to make those old texts relevant, or is there like real depth here?
Right.
One of the first things that jumped out at me was this gonna dynamics thing.
Oh, yeah. That's it's a fascinating concept.
It is.
Right. And the author presents that as like a key to understanding and interacting with people
Okay.
based on like their inherent natures.
Okay.
So you've got your tamasic, rajasic, sattvic, and yani.
So like if I'm managing a team and I've got like someone who's always procrastinating,
Right.
would using gonna dynamics mean I like handle them differently than like someone who's super ambitious and driven by their ego?
That's exactly what the author suggests.
Oh, okay.
So he argues that understanding these different like personality types, these gunas,
Right.
is crucial for effective leadership.
Okay.
He even uses a verse about Krishna
Okay.
to illustrate this. It's Vasudeva, Sutam Devam, Kamsachanura, Mardanam, Devaki, Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum.
Wow. Okay. I doubt our listener has that memorized. Can you
Yeah.
break that down?
Yeah. He breaks that down by looking at the individuals that are mentioned in there.
Got it.
So Vasudev, he was Krishna's father,
Okay.
and he was in prison. So that kind of like represents the tamasic energy.
Okay.
And then Krishna, he defeated Kamsa and Shanura, who were really power hungry.
Right.
So represented those rajasic tendencies.
Okay.
Then you've got his mother, Devaki.
Right.
She embodies like the sattvic qualities of being like pure and compassionate.
Yeah.
And then finally you have Krishna,
Yeah.
who's acknowledged as the Jagadgurum,
Okay.
the universal teacher.
Yeah.
So he's pointing toward that Mani nature.
So is the author saying that by like interacting with all these different people who kind of represent each guna,
Yeah.
that Krishna was demonstrating this whole guna dynamics thing?
Yes.
It's like he was managing a team.
Yeah, exactly. And he takes that further by looking at how Krishna kind of embodies different leadership styles
Yeah.
in other texts as well.
Okay.
So, he's the mystic lover in the Garga Samhita,
Okay.
the protector in the Srimad Bhagavatam,
Right.
and of course the visionary leader that we're kind of focusing on,
Yeah.
the Mahabharata.
I'm kind of seeing how he's building this case for Krishna as like a multifaceted leader.
Yes.
But in the Mahabharata, he's like advocating for peace.
Right.
But wasn't he also like a master strategist when it came to war? So isn't that a little bit of a contradiction?
Yeah, it's a really insightful observation.
Yeah.
It speaks to the complexity
Yeah.
of Krishna's character.
Okay.
So the author delves into specific events
Okay.
in the Mahabharata,
Right.
analyzing how Krishna kind of showcases these different management techniques.
Okay.
So like one example
Okay.
is in the archery contest
Okay.
for the Adi Parva,
Right.
where he's the only one who recognizes Arjuna's talent
Yeah.
when he's disguised as a Brahmin.
So talent recognition is a vital skill.
Yeah.
Even back then.
Precisely.
Okay.
And then you've got the example from the Udyoga Parva,
Okay.
where Krishna really passionately tries to negotiate peace with the Kauravas,
Right.
emphasizing the importance of like seeking optimal solutions,
Right. Right.
even when you're dealing with like difficult people.
Yeah. But he's also preparing them for war, right? So
Yeah.
it's like you got to be prepared for things to go wrong.
Absolutely.
That balance
Yes.
of optimism and pragmatism.
It's about understanding that not every situation
Right.
can be resolved peacefully.
Right.
Sometimes you need to be ready to stand your ground.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
The book also dives into the Bhagavad Gita
Yes.
and kind of breaks down the 18 chapters
Right.
as a guide for personal and professional transformation.
Yeah. The author presents it as like a journey from grief to liberation.
Oh.
Each chapter marking a step in that process.
This whole humanity to divinity thing is pretty interesting.
Right.
It suggests that leadership isn't just about like external achievements, but also about internal growth.
Yes.
But how does that connect to the practical side of management?
Well, he outlines the Panchabhumika,
Okay.
the 5 essential elements for success from the Gita:
Okay.
organization, people, equipment, activities, and spirit.
Right.
He even has like a star of success diagram to visualize this,
Okay.
emphasizing like a holistic approach.
So obviously we all know about the 4 yogas,
Yes.
but I'm curious how he connects them to leadership.
Yeah, he's kind of suggesting each yoga corresponds to a different leadership skill.
Okay, yeah.
Like imagine karma yoga
Right,
as the driving force behind your teams, like work ethic,
right.
and then bhakti yoga
Yeah,
as what fuels those like strong bonds
okay.
and loyalty within a team.
I like that.
Yeah, he goes on to suggest that jnana yoga,
Okay.
with its focus on like knowledge and wisdom,
Right.
is vital for strategic decision making.
Okay.
And then dana yoga
Okay.
encourages like mindful action,
Yeah.
something every leader needs to cultivate.
Yeah, definitely.
He even proposes like a fascinating twist on transactional analysis
Oh,
by incorporating a fourth state,
really?
youth.
That's interesting. I can see how that youthful energy
Yes.
could be like a powerful force in development,
Yes,
both personally and professionally.
absolutely. So, traditional transactional analysis
Right.
focuses on the parent, adult, and child ego states.
Right.
The author, drawing inspiration from the 4 yogas,
Okay.
suggests that youth is like that doer personality,
Got it.
the one who takes risks
Okay.
and pushes for progress.
So he's saying that understanding these different states, like within ourselves
Yeah.
and our team members, can lead to better communication.
Exactly. And that's just the beginning.
Okay.
The book goes beyond like traditional management theory,
Okay.
exploring concepts like appropriate integrated management,
Okay.
internal management, perfect perception,
Okay.
and the decision process.
All right. Well, let's start with appropriate integrated management.
Okay, so that's essentially a framework for interacting with and managing people
Okay.
based on their guna.
Right. Their personality type.
Exactly.
So it's like a customized approach to leadership.
Precisely. He suggests that tamasic individuals,
Right.
they might respond best to like clear instructions
Okay.
and close supervision,
Okay.
whereas rajasics, they thrive on recognition
Right.
and opportunities to like take ownership.
Got it.
Sattvics valued like knowledge
Right.
and a collaborative approach.
Okay.
And Nanas might need more of a hands-off style,
Okay.
allowing them to like lead and inspire.
That's actually pretty insightful. It's
No.
like there's been times when I've tried to manage everyone the same way
Right.
and it just doesn't work.
It's a common mistake.
Yeah.
And the author, he provides strategies for recognizing these different personality types
Okay.
and adapting your leadership accordingly.
So we've got external management.
Yeah.
What about internal management?
Right. So he introduces the concept of 4 spaces:
Okay.
physical, mind, thought,
Okay.
and inner space.
Okay.
And he outlines like strategies
Got it.
for managing each one effectively.
So each of these spaces, they represent a different aspect of our being.
Exactly.
Okay.
So he suggests that managing our physical space
Right.
through like organization and time management
Okay.
creates a more productive environment,
Right.
cultivating positive emotions
Okay.
and managing negative ones in our mind space Yeah. improves our well-being and relationships.
Okay.
Developing clarity and focus in our thought space
Okay.
leads to better decision-making
Got it.
and connecting with our inner space
Right.
through like practices like meditation
Okay.
helps us access a deeper source of like wisdom and inspiration.
So it's like a holistic approach to personal development.
That's the core idea.
Okay.
And the book goes even deeper into the decision-making process itself.
This whole moving from like imposing to accepting and decision making.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
How do you actually do that?
Well, he outlines
Yeah. Okay.
16 different decision-making processes,
Okay.
starting from imposing decisions
Okay.
and moving towards accepting them.
Okay.
He argues that the most effective leaders are those who can shift from that controlling mindset
Right.
to a more collaborative one,
Okay.
where decisions kind of emerge from shared understanding.
So instead of my way or the highway, it's more like, let's figure this out together. It's exactly.
But that requires a pretty big shift
It does.
internally.
Absolutely.
How do we do that?
He emphasizes cultivating qualities like humility, empathy, and trust.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that everyone has valuable insights to offer
Okay.
and creating an environment where those insights can be like shared and integrated
Right.
into the decision-making process.
Yeah, and I can see how that ties back to those 4 spaces we talked about.
Yes.
Like by managing our own internal state.
Exactly.
We're better equipped to create a more harmonious
Yes.
and productive environment for our teams.
Absolutely. And he offers like practical guidance on how to cultivate those qualities.
Okay.
He suggests practices like mindfulness and self-reflection
Right.
to help leaders become more aware of their own like biases and patterns,
Okay.
and to develop a more like compassionate and collaborative approach to decision making.
So it's not just about making decisions, but it's also about how to implement those decisions effectively.
Right.
He introduces this framework of drive, determination, and destination.
Yes.
I like that.
Because a decision without action is meaningless.
Right.
So he stresses the importance of having the drive
Okay.
to initiate action.
Right.
The determination to like overcome obstacles.
Right.
And a clear vision of the destination you're aiming for.
It's like setting a goal and then having the willpower
Yes.
and resilience to see it through.
Yes. And he connects this back to the 4 yogas as well.
Okay.
He suggests that karma yoga provides like the discipline
Right.
and work ethic needed for drive.
Right.
Bhakti yoga fosters like the emotional resilience
Okay.
and commitment for determination.
Got it.
Jnana yoga equips us with the knowledge and strategic thinking
Right.
for navigating obstacles.
Okay.
And dhyana yoga cultivates the focus and clarity to stay aligned with our destination.
He's really weaving all these threads together.
He is. The Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, the 4 yogas, transactional analysis. It's like a tapestry of wisdom.
Yes, it is.
It's amazing.
And it's a testament to like the universality of these principles.
Right.
So while the book is rooted in like ancient Indian philosophy,
Right.
it's presented in a way that resonates with people from like all backgrounds.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a scholar of Hinduism
Right.
to appreciate the insights and practical guidance.
It's about extracting those universal principles of wisdom and applying them
Yes,
to our own lives and leadership styles,
exactly.
regardless of where we come from
Right.
or what we believe.
That's right.
What do you think is the most valuable insight?
For me,
Yeah.
it was how the author redefined success.
Oh, okay.
So he challenges the conventional notion that success is like solely about external achievements.
Okay. Yeah.
And he argues that true success lies in cultivating
Yeah.
those inner qualities that lead to lasting fulfillment and a positive impact on the world.
So it's not just about climbing that corporate ladder
Exactly.
or making tons of money.
It's about developing qualities like compassion, wisdom, integrity.
Right, those sattvic and jnani qualities.
Exactly.
It's about using our skills and talents to contribute to something bigger than ourselves.
Precisely. He reminds us that the Bhagavad Gita emphasizes selfless action,
Okay.
detachment from outcomes,
Right.
and living in alignment with Dharma.
Yeah.
It's about finding that balance
Right.
between striving for excellence
Okay.
in the world
Yeah.
and cultivating inner peace
Right.
and fulfillment.
Yeah. And I love how he uses that star of success diagram
Yes,
and puts spirit right at the center.
exactly.
That's like a holistic approach to success.
Yes, it's a powerful visual.
Yeah.
And by placing like spirit at the center,
Yeah.
he underscores that it's the driving force behind like true and lasting success.
So true success is an inside-out process. It starts with aligning our actions
Yes.
with our inner values,
Yes.
our purpose,
Yes.
and our connection to something greater.
That was a real aha
Yeah.
moment for me.
Yeah.
It's a powerful shift in perspective.
Right.
You know, moving away from external validation.
Right.
Towards a deeper sense of purpose and meaning.
Yeah. And he gives us practical advice on how to make that shift,
Yes, he does.
you know, for cultivating those inner qualities
Yeah.
that lead to a more meaningful life.
He encourages practices like mindfulness,
Right.
meditation, and self-reflection
Yeah.
to help individuals like connect with their inner values
Okay.
and develop a deeper understanding of like themselves and their purpose.
I love how he takes these old teachings and makes them relevant for like today.
Yeah, he doesn't shy away from challenging conventional thinking.
Yeah.
Like, I love how he even revises like established psychological models,
Oh, yeah.
like transactional analysis,
Right.
integrating his own insights based on the Bhagavad Gita.
That's really interesting.
It's refreshing, right?
It is.
He's not just like regurgitating old ideas.
Right.
He's encouraging us to think critically
Right.
and apply these principles in our own unique ways.
What about perfect perception?
It challenges us to examine our own biases.
Okay.
So, we often see the world through a filter of like preconceived notions
Right.
and judgments.
Yeah.
So he encourages us to become more aware of those filters
Okay.
and to strive for like a clearer, more objective understanding of reality.
And he gives us that 14-step process
He does.
for cultivating perfect perception.
Yes.
Okay.
And it starts with like directing our senses,
Okay.
focusing our attention,
Right.
and then moving through a series of steps to like process information accurately and objectively.
So it's like a process of like refining our perception,
It is.
questioning our assumptions,
Yeah.
and being willing to see things from different perspectives.
He acknowledges that achieving perfect perception is like an ongoing journey,
Yeah.
not a destination.
It's not like you just arrive,
Yeah.
then you're done.
And of course, he connects this back to the four gunas,
Right.
suggesting that our personality type influences how we perceive the world.
Of course.
So he highlights how each guna approaches perception differently.
Okay.
So tamasic individuals, they might have a more like limited and rigid view,
Right.
while rajasics might be driven by their desires and ambitions,
Okay.
which can distort their perception,
Yeah.
sattvics,
Yeah.
with their like inherent balance and objectivity.
Okay.
They're naturally more inclined towards perfect perception.
Right.
And Nenis, through their like spiritual realization,
Okay.
they've transcended the limitations of individual perception altogether.
It's like we all see the world through our own lens,
We do.
and it's important to be aware of those filters.
The key is to not like judge ourselves or others based on our personality type, but to use this understanding to become more self-aware
Okay, yeah.
and cultivate a more balanced and accurate perception.
Right.
It's a valuable lesson
Yeah,
for anyone.
regardless of their background.
Yeah.
So it's about recognizing that we all have the potential to like grow and evolve,
Yes.
to refine our perception,
Yes.
and see the world with more clarity and compassion.
And that's a key takeaway from the book.
Yeah.
It's about empowering individuals
Right.
to become more conscious,
Okay.
more effective,
Yeah.
and ultimately more fulfilled in their lives.
It's about tapping into that ancient wisdom
Yes.
and applying it to the modern world.
He invites us to like embark on this journey of self-discovery,
Okay.
using the teachings of Krishna as a guide.
Speaking of Krishna's teachings,
Yeah.
I'm curious about his interpretation of the Bhagavad Gita as like a corporate guide.
It's a sacred text for millions.
It is.
So applying it to business might seem a little unconventional.
Yeah.
I understand that perspective.
Right.
It's certainly a bold approach.
Yeah.
But he doesn't like diminish the spiritual significance of the Gita.
Okay.
He simply highlights
Yeah.
its universal principles
Right.
and shows how they can be applied to our professional lives.
So it's not about turning the Gita into like a business manual.
No,
Oh.
it's about extracting those timeless insights
Okay.
that can help us like lead more effectively,
Right.
work more purposefully,
Okay.
and face challenges with greater resilience.
He gives like specific examples, right?
He does.
Of how different verses and chapters relate to the corporate world.
For instance, he interprets the first chapter
Okay.
where Arjuna faces like despair on the battlefield
Yeah.
as a representation of the challenges leaders often encounter.
Yeah.
He sees Krishna's guidance as like a roadmap
Okay.
for overcoming self-doubt
Right.
and finding the courage to act.
So it's about developing that inner strength and resilience.
Yeah.
That we need to face those challenges.
He connects this to the concept of sthita prajna
Okay.
from the Gita,
Right.
which describes like a person
Yeah.
with unwavering mental stability,
Okay.
unfazed by external circumstances.
Right.
He argues that cultivating this like inner stability
Yeah.
is vital for effective leadership.
It's about finding that balance and composure,
Yeah.
even when everything's chaotic.
He interprets other chapters similarly,
Okay.
drawing parallels to themes like work ethic,
Right.
communication, decision-making,
Right.
and the importance of like serving a higher purpose.
So it's about seeing the Bhagavad Gita
Yeah.
not just as a religious text,
Yes.
but as like a source of wisdom
Yes.
for all parts of life.
And that's what makes the book so unique.
Okay.
It bridges the gap between ancient wisdom
Right.
and modern application,
Yeah.
demonstrating how these timeless principles are still relevant
Right.
and transformative today.
It's an invitation to, like, delve into those ancient texts,
It is.
explore those timeless teachings,
Yes.
and see how they can guide us
Yeah.
toward a more meaningful life.
And it reminds us that wisdom is a journey,
Okay.
not a destination.
Right.
It's about constantly seeking,
Okay.
learning,
Yeah.
and evolving,
Right.
and using those insights to make a positive difference in the world.
I think that's a perfect place to pause
Okay.
for now.
Sounds good.
Ah.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder
Yeah.
that our actions should reflect our values.
Right.
And that kind of leads us to another interesting concept from the book.
Okay.
Moving from imposing to accepting.
Right. This idea of shifting from, like, a controlling mindset to a more collaborative one.
Yes.
I think a lot of leaders struggle with that.
They do.
So how do we make that transition?
Well, he outlines a fascinating progression
Okay.
of 16 different decision-making processes. Yeah, and he argues that the most effective leaders are those who can move from imposing their will
Okay.
to creating a space for shared decision-making,
Right.
ultimately reaching a state of accepting decisions that emerge organically.
So it's like going from my way or the highway.
Yes.
To let's figure this out together.
Exactly.
But that requires, like, a fundamental shift.
It does.
Internally.
Absolutely.
Right.
He emphasizes cultivating qualities like humility, empathy, and trust.
So it's about recognizing that everyone has something to offer.
Yes.
Okay.
And creating an environment where those insights can be shared
Okay.
and integrated into the decision-making process.
And I see how that ties back to those 4 spaces.
It does.
If we're managing our own internal state effectively,
Yes.
we're more equipped to create that harmonious environment
Absolutely.
for everyone.
And he offers practical guidance
That's
on how to cultivate those qualities.
like what?
He suggests practices like mindfulness and self-reflection
Right.
to
Yeah.
help leaders become more aware of their own biases and patterns
Okay.
and to develop a more compassionate and collaborative approach to decision-making.
The book doesn't just stop at making decisions, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's also about implementation.
Yes.
He uses this framework: drive, determination, and destination.
Yes. A decision without action is meaningless, right?
Right.
So he stresses the importance of having the drive to initiate action,
Okay.
the determination to overcome obstacles,
Right.
and a clear vision of the destination you're aiming for.
So it's like setting a goal
Yes.
and then having the willpower to see it through.
That's a great analogy.
Okay.
And he connects this back to the 4 yogas as well.
Okay. How so?
He suggests that karma yoga provides the discipline and work ethic needed for drive.
Okay.
Bhakti yoga fosters the emotional resilience and commitment for determination.
Right.
Jnana yoga equips us with the knowledge and strategic thinking for navigating obstacles.
Yeah.
And dhyana yoga cultivates the focus and clarity to stay aligned with our destination.
It's really incredible how he ties everything together.
Yeah.
The Mahabharata, the Gita, 4 yogas,
Yeah.
even transactional analysis.
It's like he's created this tapestry of wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it's a testament to the universality of these principles.
Right.
So while the book is rooted in ancient Indian philosophy, it's presented in a way that resonates with everyone.
Right. You don't have to be a scholar
Yeah,
to understand it.
exactly. You don't have to be a scholar of Hinduism to appreciate the insights
Right.
and the practical guidance it offers.
So it's about extracting those universal principles
Yes.
and applying them to our own lives,
Exactly.
no matter our background
Yes.
or our beliefs.
That's right.
What stands out to you as the most valuable insight?
For me,
Yeah.
it was how the author redefined success.
Okay.
So he challenges this idea that success is solely about external achievements.
Right. Like what we accomplish.
Yeah. And he argues that true success lies in cultivating those inner qualities
Okay.
that lead to lasting fulfillment
Okay.
and a positive impact on the world.
So it's not about climbing the corporate ladder
Exactly.
or making tons of money.
It's about developing qualities like compassion, wisdom, integrity.
Right. Those sattvic and jnani qualities.
Exactly.
So it's about using our skills and talents to make a contribution to something bigger.
Precisely.
Yeah.
He reminds us that the Bhagavad Gita emphasizes selfless action,
Right.
detachment from outcomes,
Okay.
and living in alignment with Dharma.
It's about finding that balance
It is.
between striving for excellence
Yes.
in the world, but also cultivating inner peace
Yes.
and fulfillment.
Exactly.
I love how he uses that star of success diagram
Yes.
to illustrate this.
It's such a powerful visual.
Yeah, and he puts spirit right at the center.
And by placing spirit at the center,
Yeah.
he emphasizes that it's the driving force
Yeah.
behind true and lasting success.
So true success is an inside-out process.
It is.
It starts by aligning our actions with our inner values and purpose
Yes.
and our connection to something greater.
That was a real aha moment for me.
Yeah.
It's a powerful shift in perspective,
Right.
moving away from external validation toward a deeper sense of purpose.
It's about the journey.
Yes. And the book offers practical guidance
Does it?
on how to make that shift,
What kind of guidance?
providing tools and techniques for cultivating those inner qualities
Right.
that
Sure.
lead to a more meaningful and fulfilling life.
Okay.
He encourages practices like mindfulness, meditation, and self-reflection
Okay.
to help individuals connect with their inner values
Right.
and develop a deeper understanding of themselves and their purpose.
I love how he makes these ancient teachings so relevant.
Yeah, he doesn't shy away from challenging conventional thinking.
He doesn't.
Like, I love how he revises established psychological models,
Oh, like what?
like transactional analysis,
Right.
integrating his own insights based on the Bhagavad Gita.
That's pretty cool.
It's refreshing, isn't it?
It is.
He's not just regurgitating old ideas.
Right.
He's encouraging us to think critically and apply these principles in our own unique ways.
Speaking of fresh perspectives, what about perfect perception?
Oh, yeah. That challenges us to examine our own biases.
Okay.
We often see the world through these filters
Yeah.
of preconceived notions and judgments.
Right.
So he encourages us to become more aware of those filters
Okay.
and to strive for a clearer, more objective understanding of reality.
And he gives us that 14-step process, right?
He does.
Okay.
It starts with directing our senses, focusing our attention,
Okay.
and then moving through a series of steps to process information accurately.
So it's like refining our perception,
Yes.
questioning our assumptions,
Yeah.
and being willing to see things from different perspectives.
It's a process of refining our perception, questioning our assumptions,
Right.
and being willing to see things from different perspectives.
Okay.
He acknowledges that achieving perfect perception is an ongoing journey.
It's not like you just get there.
No,
Right.
it's not a destination.
And of course, he connects it back to the 4 gunas.
He does.
Okay.
Our personality type influences how we see the world.
Right.
He highlights how each guna approaches perception differently.
Okay.
Tamasic individuals might have a more limited and rigid view,
Okay.
while Rajasics might be driven by their desires and ambitions,
Right.
which can distort their perception.
Okay.
Sattvics, with their inherent balance and objectivity,
Right.
are naturally more inclined towards perfect perception,
Okay.
and Gnanis, through their spiritual realization,
Right.
have transcended the limitations of individual perception altogether.
So we all have our own unique lens.
We do.
Oh, it's right.
It's important to be aware of those filters
Yeah.
and strive for a more objective and compassionate understanding.
The key is to not judge ourselves or others based on our personality type,
Yeah.
but to use this understanding to become more self-aware.
Yes.
Right.
And to cultivate a more balanced and accurate perception.
Yeah. I like that.
It's a valuable lesson for anyone,
It is.
regardless of their background.
So it's about recognizing that we can all grow and evolve
Yes.
to see the world more clearly and with more compassion.
And that's a key takeaway from the book.
Okay.
It's about empowering individuals to become more conscious,
Right.
more effective,
Okay.
and ultimately more fulfilled.
It's about using that ancient wisdom
Yes.
to create a better world.
He invites us to embark on a journey of self-discovery,
Okay.
using the teachings of Krishna as a guide.
Speaking of Krishna's teachings,
Yeah.
what about his interpretation of the Bhagavad Gita as a corporate guide?
It's a sacred text for millions.
It is.
So applying it to the business world might seem unconventional.
Right?
I understand that perspective. It's a bold approach,
It is.
but he doesn't diminish the spiritual significance of the Gita.
Okay.
He simply highlights its universal principles
Right.
and shows how they can be applied to our professional lives.
So it's not about turning it into like a business manual.
No,
Okay.
it's about extracting those timeless insights
Right.
that can help us lead more effectively
Yeah.
work more purposefully,
Okay.
and face challenges with greater resilience.
He gives specific examples of how these verses and chapters relate to the corporate world.
For instance, he interprets the first chapter,
Okay.
where Arjuna is facing despair on the battlefield,
Right.
as a representation of the challenges leaders often face.
Okay.
He sees Krishna's guidance as a roadmap
Okay.
for overcoming self-doubt and finding the courage to act.
So it's about developing that inner strength
Yes.
and resilience.
He connects this to the concept of sthita prajna from the Gita,
Okay.
which describes a person with, like, unwavering mental stability. Right. Unfazed by external circumstances.
Okay.
He argues that cultivating this inner stability
Right.
is vital for effective leadership.
Yeah, it's about finding that balance and composure,
Yes,
even when things are chaotic.
exactly.
Yeah.
He interprets other chapters similarly,
Okay.
drawing parallels to themes like work ethic, communication, decision-making,
Okay.
and the importance of serving a higher purpose.
So it's about seeing the Bhagavad Gita not just as a religious text, but as a source of practical wisdom
Yes.
for all areas of life.
And that's what makes the book so unique.
Yeah.
It bridges that gap between ancient wisdom
Right.
and modern application,
Right.
demonstrating how these timeless principles are still relevant and transformative.
It's like an invitation
It is.
to dive into these ancient texts,
Yes.
explore these timeless teachings,
Yes.
and discover how they can guide us
Yeah.
to a more meaningful life.
And it reminds us that wisdom is a journey,
Okay.
not a destination. It's about constantly seeking, learning, and evolving,
Right.
and using those insights to make a positive difference.
I think that's a perfect place to pause our exploration for now. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already, but before we wrap up this deep dive into Krishna, the management guru, there are a few more things I wanted to touch on. You mentioned that the book goes beyond, like, the most well-known texts, right?
Right. It doesn't just stick to the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, yeah.
The author also delves into some less explored texts,
Oh, okay. Like what?
like the Gopala Sastranama,
Okay.
which is a collection of 1,008 names of Krishna,
Wow.
and the Uddhava Gita,
Okay.
a dialogue between Krishna and his disciple Uddhava.
I'm curious what these, like, lesser-known texts add to the conversation. Do they offer, like, different perspectives on Krishna?
They absolutely do.
Okay.
The Gopala Sahasranama, for example, emphasizes Krishna's playful and compassionate nature.
Okay.
It really highlights his deep love for humanity and his connection to the natural world.
So we're seeing a different side of him. Like, he
Yeah.
wasn't all about, duty and war.
Exactly.
He had this, like, human side as well.
It adds depth and nuance
Yeah.
to our understanding of him.
Okay.
And then you've got the Uddhava Gita,
Right?
which delves into more philosophical and spiritual teachings,
Okay.
exploring topics like self-realization, the nature of the divine, and the path to liberation.
So by looking at these different texts,
Yeah.
we get a more well-rounded view of Krishna's wisdom.
That's a great way to put it. The author weaves these different perspectives together
Yeah.
to create a richer, more complete portrait of Krishna as a leader, teacher, and spiritual guide.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what do you think is the overall message?
I think there are several key takeaways.
Okay.
On one level, he's challenging us to rethink our assumptions about leadership and success.
Okay.
He encourages us to look beyond traditional models and explore those timeless principles
Yeah.
found in these ancient texts.
So true leadership is not about power and control.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about compassion,
Yeah.
wisdom,
Yeah.
and a commitment to serving a higher purpose.
It all comes back to those sattvic and jnani qualities.
Yeah.
Compassion, integrity, wisdom,
Yes.
a strong connection to our purpose.
He's inviting us to embark on this journey of self-discovery,
Yeah.
to explore these texts
Right.
and find personal meaning in their wisdom.
So it's not about just blindly following what someone else says.
Exactly.
It's about engaging with these ideas.
Yes.
Asking questions.
And seeing what resonates with us.
I like that.
It sparks curiosity,
Yeah.
and it encourages us to delve deeper into these timeless principles.
Is there a question you'd like to leave our listener with?
I would. This idea of guna dynamics has been so central to our discussion.
Yeah.
I ask our listener to consider how applying this concept to their teams and relationships might change their communication style,
Okay, yeah.
their approach to leadership, and their ability to create a more harmonious environment.
It challenges us to take this concept beyond just theory
Exactly.
and actually use it.
By understanding those different gunas
Right.
and how they influence behavior, we can become more effective communicators,
Yeah.
more empathetic leaders,
Yeah.
and ultimately more successful in achieving our goals.
We can learn so much from these ancient teachings. Leadership is a journey, and by embracing these principles, we can create a more positive and impactful world.
Well said.
To our listener, we encourage you to explore Krishna, the management guru. See what speaks to you, and who knows, you might just discover your own inner management guru along the way.
It's been a pleasure.
It has. And to our listener, until next time, keep diving deep, keep learning, and keep seeking that wisdom that will guide you toward a more fulfilling life.